In 1 Kings 11, God told Jeroboam through the prophet Ahijah,
Because Solomon has abandoned me and worshipped idols, I will tear the kingdom from Solomon, and give you 10 of the tribes. And I will place you on the throne of Israel.
If you obey my commands, as my servant David did, then I will always be with you. I will establish an enduring dynasty for you, as I did for David.
Just as the Lord had said. The people of Israel made Jeroboam king over all Israel. Then Jeroboam built up the city of Shechem in the hill country of Ephraim, and it became his capital. Jeroboam thought to himself,
Unless I am careful, the kingdom will return to the dynasty of David. When these people go to Jerusalem to offer sacrifices at the temple of the Lord, they will again give their allegiance to King Rehoboam of Judah. Then they will kill me and make him their king instead.
So, on the advice of his counselors, the king made 2 gold calves. He said to the people,
It is too much trouble for you to worship in Jerusalem. Look, Israel, these are the gods who brought you out of Egypt.
He placed these calf idols in Bethel in the south, and in Dan in the north, at either end of his kingdom. But this became a great sin, for the people worshipped the idols. Jeroboam instituted a religious festival in Bethel, held on the 15th day of the 8th month, in imitation of the annual festival of shelters in Judah. There at Bethel, he himself offered sacrifices to the calves he had made. And he ordained priests for the pagan shrines from the common people, those who were not from the priestly tribe of Levi. At the Lord's command, a man of God from Judah went to Bethel, arriving there, just as Jeroboam was approaching the altar to burn incense. Then at the Lord's command, he shouted,
O altar, altar! This is what the Lord says. A child named Josiah will be born into the dynasty of David. On you he will sacrifice the priests from the pagan shrines, who come here to burn incense. And human bones will be burned on you.
To prove that this far prophecy will come true, he said,
This altar will split apart, and its ashes will be poured out on the ground.
When King Jeroboam heard this, he pointed at him and shouted,
Seize that man!
But instantly, the king's hand became paralyzed in that position, and he couldn't pull it back. At the same time, a wide crack appeared in the altar, and the ashes poured out, just as the man of God had predicted in his message from the Lord. The king cried out to the man of God,
Please ask the Lord your God to restore my hand again.
So the man of God prayed to the Lord, and the king's hand was restored, and he could move it again. Later in his reign, Jeroboam's son became very sick. So Jeroboam told his wife,
Disguise yourself and go to the prophet Ahijah at Shiloh, the man who told me I would become king. Take a gift for him, and ask him what will happen to the boy.
So Jeroboam's wife went to Ahijah's home at Shiloh. Ahijah was an old man now, and could no longer see. But the Lord had told him that Jeroboam's wife is coming, and what would happen to her son. Ahijah said,
Give your husband Jeroboam this message from the Lord.
You have done more evil than all who lived before you. You have made me furious with your golden calves. And since you have turned your back on me,
I will bring disaster on your dynasty, and will destroy every one of your male descendants, slave and free alike, anywhere in Israel. The members of your family who die in the city will be eaten by dogs, and those who die in the field will be eaten by vultures. I, the Lord, have spoken.
Then Ahijah said to Jeroboam's wife,
Go on home. And when you enter the city, the child will die. He is the only member of your family who will have a proper burial. For this child is the only good thing that the Lord the God of Israel sees in the entire family of Jeroboam. In addition, the Lord will uproot the people of Israel from this good land, and scatter them beyond the Euphrates River. For they have angered the Lord with the Asherah poles they have set up for worship. He will abandon Israel because Jeroboam sinned, and made Israel sin along with him.
So Jeroboam's wife returned to Tirzah, and the child died just as she walked through the door of her home. And all Israel buried him and mourned for him. Jeroboam reigned in Israel 22 years. When Jeroboam died, his son Nadab became the next king.